family, how you doing? How you feeling? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Uncomfortable Conversations, where we normalize the power of uncomfortable conversations, knowing that we must have these uncomfortable conversations, and what better place to do it than here? Today we have a guest, as y'all can see. I am super, super, super excited. Y'all know I only bring the best of the best. Like, I'm not gonna bring anybody on here that it's just not vibing with the family. Like, everybody, we can't just invite everybody to the cookouts.
Facts.
So today, I'm super excited to be joined here by the Trap Therapist. The name itself is like, we want to know more. And this is why she's here, because it's like, I want to know more. What's going on? The Trap Therapist, like, I can't wait till we get into it. So, and I know that we always start our podcast off with our card game. And y'all, the holidays is coming. We have a sale going on that's 30% off. So make sure y'all tap in and get your cards. Hey family, how you doing? How you feeling? What is up? First off, get into the sweater. It's lighting up. Secondly, I want to stop and tell y'all that In Session is having a holiday sale. I have the couples edition cards and individual from November 21st to December 26th. In.sessionmft will be giving a 30% off discount. 30% off. Listen, you know what I could do with 30% off of a lot of things? Heal, okay? Tap in, because In.sessionmft has the discounts, okay? We got the discounts, y'all. You know what I'm feeling? Just because I don't know why, just something in my spirit is saying to do this. From the 24th to the 28th, so for Black Friday, we're going to do a 40% off. 40%, listen, at this point, I'm giving it away. At this point, it's giving it away. We're going to do a 40% off for Black Friday sale. So from November 24th to November 28th, we'll have 40% off. No, that's too good. That's too good. For the first 5 people. Because at this point, listen, I got to make my coin too. Hold on. Wait, so from November 24th to November 28th, for the first 5 people, it'll be 40% off. For the first 5 people, we're going to make these cards 40% off. It don't get no better than that. Once those 5 people is up, though, we back to 30. Because, mama got to make her coin too. Hold on. It's the holidays. Make sure that we are giving the gifts of healing. So what are you waiting for? We got the supplies. We got the supplies. Hold on. Let me get it. We got the hold on. Listen, I am ready to bag these up. These could be yours. Support for the holidays. We're ready. They all have your name on it. Healing has your name on it. What are you waiting for? Let's get it, y'all. Happy holidays. So today we're going to go and do the individual edition cards. So I'm going to shuffle it and then we're going to get into it.
All right.
Let me hurry up because, look, cards popping out. I'm excited. Cards popping out left and right. Let me hurry up because I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to tap in. Hold on.
Tap in.
Jesus. All right. Cards is just popping out left and right. So what I'm going to do is wave because you don't have your copy yet.
Okay. Oh, I got to get my copy. I'm definitely going to get my
copy. Okay. What I'm going to do is spread them out and then kind of put my finger over it and you just let me know where to stop. So
right there. I'm going to take that one right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, very. I like it. All right. Oh, this says, have you ever been forced to do something that you didn't want to do? Elaborate.
Wow. Coming in hot. I mean, honestly, I'm going to just talk a little bit about like my identity, being Black, being queer, being from New York. Mm-hmm. Sometimes unless you reframe your thinking, it always feels like the world is trying to essentially kind of like ask you to do things that you really don't want to do. But I think one time in particular, the most recent time, I think it was, I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like I was sitting in the train the other day,
Mm,
and I guess what was required was for me to kind of like essentially listen to the training and just listen to it. You know, there was really no prompting on objectivity to really ask questions or really even, you know, try to think deeper about what the instructor was saying. And
mm,
he mentioned a topic that's very sensitive to me, which was medicating children. And these are
mm,
my own personal beliefs, right?
mm,
And what he basically stated, and he was a white man,
mm,
and I was pretty much like one of three black people in the room. Uh, and he basically said that if kids get medicated and the medication works, that means that the problem is resolving itself.
mm.
And right,
What training was this?
right.
What?
And then I said to him, or it could mean that, um, the issue is being suppressed, right? We're not
Exactly.
getting to the core issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that started like a chain reaction with the other two black people that were, that worked in juvenile justice.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially he kind of did this kind of like smug, in my opinion, white male thing to say, oh, well, why don't you tell us your experience? And I didn't want to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I had to do it because I feel like I think sometimes cultural considerations and implications are not considered in the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm in the room and if it's a white instructor, black, Asian, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to make sure that I'm the person that is speaking for my group of people. So,
Mm-hmm.
that was a situation where I really didn't want to be put on the spotlight like that because I think there's so much work that needs to be done to integrate the black community into wellness. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's our responsibility, especially me as a black woman who already owns a lot of emotional labor, to have to do it for someone who's getting paid to train, you know what I'm saying, groups of people.
Mm.
Yeah.
You better come on out and speak. This is why we here. I'm so sorry that you even endured that. I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here like, who was facilitating that training and
Yeah.
how can we report them at this point? Because
Right.
first off, they're expressing and explaining misinformation.
Right.
Let's just start there. How you gonna
Mm-hmm.
train me on something that is nonsense?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, excuse me, you don't have to tell
Mm-hmm.
your story if you don't want to. I
No,
think
that's
that you
true.
should be able to receive what you were saying and
Mm-hmm.
sit with that. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
need examples. Like
Yep.
that, I
Yep.
feel like, or how do you feel? I mean, we get right into it, but how
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
feel like when people say, I mean, even like you said, being a black woman
Mm-hmm.
and a woman and a part of the community,
Right.
LGBTQ community, do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like it is like our job to educate those who may not know or pretend to not know? Like, what? How do you feel about that? Because I always feel kind of mixed emotions on that.
Right. You know, I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's my responsibility or another black woman's responsibility to speak for their whole racial group, right? We don't,
Mm-hmm.
even though we have similar experiences, that doesn't mean we have the same lived experiences, right?
Yeah,
Completely
exactly.
different. We have cultural implications, we have, geographical, implications. None of
Mm-hmm.
that means that we're all having the same experience, but
Right.
we know what society by and large is saying about black
Mm-hmm.
people, whether we agree
Right.
with it or not. So I say I don't think it's my responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been postgraduate for 4 years, right?
Okay.
The amount of can I like what is my measure on being able to cuss? Because I like to cuss
Oh.
sometimes, so I want to know how you feel. Because I don't
Everybody
want
says that. Go ahead. It's cool.
to go. I bet. That's just what I do, right?
Yo, go
Okay. The
ahead.
amount of shit that I done seen in this field, the amount of injustice, the shit, like I used to be a corrections officer, you feel me?
Okay.
So it's like the shit that I've seen, it's like I'm disgusted by it.
Mm.
So for me, like if I'm not in a good mental space, I'm definitely not going to entangle or give my energy to things that are not necessarily going to be reciprocal in energy. But
Okay.
when I'm feeling good and my life is going well, and my wife probably didn't piss me off the night before, I'm going to definitely say and speak for my people, because I think being the trap therapist in itself is breaking every stereotype that the world says about Black people in itself. Like, I come in like this, like, I don't care what you're saying, like, I'm
Period.
not dressing up for you, I'm not
Period.
changing the way I speak for you. This
Period.
is this is really how I choose to represent myself, because I think that people need to understand that being Black isn't monolithic. We don't all do the same shit, and
Hmm.
we don't all feel the same way, so I try to show up what feels resonant for me. So if I feel like, I have the space and the capacity to do so, I'll speak. But other than that, no, I probably won't. It's not our
Yeah,
responsibility. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I think that's a great segue to us knowing who is the trap therapist. Like, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about who are you? Where'd you even get that name from? And
Mhm.
why do you feel like that is an important name for you to embody?
So, like, for me, like, okay, so it's multifaceted. So I'll just go into a few parts of it. But like,
Okay.
my generation, I'm only like 20 something, but my generation was like trap heavy, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Ti, like, shit, like, what was like trap, like Dipset. Like, I grew up with, like, real 2 Chainz, like, real prominent, like, rap was really prominent in the kind of era that I kind of grew up in. So
Yeah.
the conditioning of the Black community at that time, for me, like, it was either like you either sell drugs
Mm.
and live a criminal lifestyle. um if you're a woman, go into sex work,
Mm.
or male men. Sex work is not limited by gender, but at that time that's what it was, right? And then um kind of like, hold on, I'm trying to bring it back in.
Mhm.
It's like, or you go to school, but in our community, if you go to school, you were considered to be corny, or you were like a square, or you were
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah.
So for me, my first dream ideally was always to be a lawyer. I always wanted to advocate for people who didn't have a voice to speak.
Nice.
I grew up in a household that was very volatile,
Okay.
so my voice was silenced from a very young age,
Mm.
and it took a lot of time to kind of like gain the capacity to trust myself, to feel
Mm.
confident in myself, to believe in myself.
Yeah.
So because I grew up in the hood, I was like, this resonates with me. Like, going to sell, I'm gonna be honest with you, going to sell drugs and going to live a life of crime resonated more for me based on my conditioning than going to school and being
Mm.
corny, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I said was, I'm going to go to school, but I'm not going to change who I have been kind of conditioned to be. So my mix was like, I'm going to be a therapist, but I'm going to represent my subset in my community, which is the hood, which is essentially the marginalized and the underserved. So
Mm.
that's how I
Okay.
came up with the trap therapist. Yeah.
Okay. Therapist that's still in the hood.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts, right? Facts.
No, I love that. I love that. I think that's one, and I think that is one of the reasons that it definitely made me gravitate towards you, because I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, like this is like the missing piece. You are the
Right.
key that we are definitely
Appreciate
needing
that.
to be able to bridge that gap between healing and being a human and having
Right.
real life experiences. So I
Right.
definitely love that. How do you feel like that has changed, or has it changed the trajectory of like the people that you serve, or the way that maybe the community looks at a therapist as a whole?
Yo, let me tell you, I love your questions, right? I love your questions because it makes me like, yes, I get.
Thank
Uh,
you.
um, for me, I think it helped me like pull them in, right? Like, a lot of my clients are young Black boys who were told to essentially, large and part of what your guest talked about in other podcasts, to
Mhm.
shut down and sit up. I mean, to sit down and shut up. to not have emotions, to not have feelings, to not think outside of this paradigm for Black boys and Black males, right? You feel nothing, you internalize everything, and you project your pain onto the people you love, the people closest to you, and a lot of times in your community. So being able to go in to say, like, listen, I get where you're coming from. I faced similar situations. There was a point in time where I was like arrested. I get everything that you've been through, but that doesn't mean that just because you were conditioned that way, that means that you have to stay that way. That doesn't mean that we don't need emotional regulation. That doesn't mean that we don't have to tend to our feelings. That doesn't mean that we don't have to think introspectively about our future. You want to move out of the projects? Move out of the projects. It's possible. And a lot of times in marginalized community, the narrative is like, well, I ain't seen nobody do it, so I don't know if you could do it. And then they see me and they see, they see how I look and how I present and how I talk and how I advocate for them. And it always dawns on them to think like, hey, maybe it's not that bad. Like maybe there is someone who understands me, right? Because I think younger adults and kids think like, you don't understand me. And it's just like, what you think? We just came to become adults, like we were born and we're adults. Like, no. Like we've been there, we did everything you did. We were teenagers, we had hormones, we made bad decisions. You're not unique, right?
I woke up an adult.
Right. You woke up an adult. See, you lucky.
Kidding. I'm just
and I think they resonate with it because they feel it's familiar to them. And I think honestly, when you're thinking about emotions and feelings, safety is the first thing that matters most. So being able to feel safe, like she's not judging my appearance. She's not judging the fact that, I have a speech impediment. She's not judging me. She's not judging anything about me. I think it kind of like, made me lock in with my clients even more.
I love that. You better go ahead. You're doing the Lord's work at this point. One of the things that you said, and I kind of want to touch on, I know I'm going a little bit all over the place and like a little off script, but I think it's important to note you mentioned basically the power of being emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like how important do you feel like our generation or community needs to learn how to be emotionally intelligent? And not only that, like how is some ways that or what are some ways rather that you instill that into the young Black boys that you serve?
I tell him like the honest truth. And I want to hear, even though I'm not interviewing you, which I want to soon. I want to ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
My perspective has been, even though I'm a therapist, when I integrate certain spaces, I still am reminded that I'm a Black woman. Is that experience for you as well? Do you feel like being a therapist has changed how people view you overall? Non-Black people.
I would say this. So I think yes, but not in all spaces. I think that I became a therapist because I embodied this like therapeutic aura in general. And then when I meet with people who may not be ready to receive certain messages in a clearer way, um, they get defensive and start to see me as a therapist as an attack to their character.
Right. I get that. And for me, my experience has somewhat been that like how I've been able to speak to them is somewhat like kind of saying that like, okay, let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you feel like you've had roles and jobs before being a therapist?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like the game changes for real, for real? And when I say the game, like how it's structured, like having to go and get, your needs met financially, having to find resources. Do you feel like that necessarily changes, or that the game somewhat, and I don't want to lead your answer, but do you feel like the game kind of like still stays the same? Like you still got to go out and get it. You still got to get up in the morning if you want to be successful. You still got to hustle. Like,
So are you asking like before being a therapist, was like the hustle the same, or
Did you, were you still trying to get it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, were you still trying to
um
figure it out, still trying to,
oh yeah.
yeah,
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 I
yeah.
mean, shoot, I'm still doing that now.
Exactly,
As a
exactly,
therapist.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how I resonate with my clients, by
Mhm.
letting them know that the game doesn't change. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you on the block or whether you go to school or whether you still
Mm.
have to be dedicated. You still have to be disciplined. You still have
Yeah.
to be communicative, right? You still have to understand that even if your environment change, people don't change, right?
Hmm.
We, throughout the course of our lives, meet different variations of the same person. My
Oh,
belief is
yeah.
that, right? Like, my belief
Hmm.
sometimes is that you're gonna meet the same person and you have the same lesson until you learn it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in our community, like how I like try to spit it to them and why I think we need the emotional intelligence and the attunement is because the game doesn't change. Whether or
Mm.
not you're a vice president of a company or whether you're Donald Trump, right?
Hmm.
Power, control, money,
Mm.
hierarchy, right? These are the things that fuel the country. These are the things that we experience.
Hmm.
So if you want to do something different, it starts here first. It don't
Yeah.
start out there. It starts here
Mhm.
and it starts here.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to understand that because sometimes I think we're chasing things that may not be real.
Yeah.
We're trying to find something external, but what we need is here. What we
Hmm.
need is here. And there's nothing that can replace that. A title, money, relationship, nothing can replace this. And
Yeah.
what I see a lot of people trying to walk around, the
Hmm.
process of healing, trying to take shortcuts, but that shortcut is only going to lead you back to a journey to yourself. And I
Mm.
think that's what I learned, and that's what I try to impart. Like, no matter what it is that you want to do, reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
But if you don't take the time to learn who you are, you're going to keep repeating the same lesson until, you know what I mean, you learn from it.
Yeah, I think that's actually an amazing analogy because, like you said, the hustle don't stop. It's
Mm-mm.
just in a different form. I mean, we still gonna get up and grind and try to figure it
Mhm.
out. And I mean, it's almost identical to, like, being in the streets, like
Mhm.
waking up and chasing the bag and
Mhm. Mhm.
chasing that next thrill and
Mhm. Yep.
creating these goals and going out and get it. And I mean, literally, the hustle is the same, just in a different
Mhm.
form, maybe
Mhm.
just in a more legalized form,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it's definitely the
Mhm.
same. So that was
Mhm.
actually a really great analogy, to be quite honest. I really enjoyed that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, I think my next question would be like, what keeps you motivated in a space where the hustle is always the hustle and the grind is always the grind and we is tired,
Yeah.
so
Tired.
in that space of being able to even showing up, and then even the population that you serve,
Mhm.
um knowing that this population, I mean, the kids these days are faced with so many different challenges. Is It's like really heartbreaking. And
Yeah.
so to see the most, and being a therapist, and you hear the most like just gruesomest stories,
Mhm.
what keeps you motivated and keeps you going in the midst of all of that while you're doing life yourself?
I think the little child within me.
Mm, yeah.
I think she's always somewhere, like sometimes like reacting.
Mm,
And what I learned from being in a long-term relationship is that I have to listen to her.
mm.
Because if I don't listen to her, my partner's going to have to listen to her. And if my partner hasn't listened to her, that's not probably going to work very well. Okay. So I listen to her, and a lot of what I hear her repeating to me is, I feel scared. I feel fearful. I don't understand. And the adult version of me has to come in and instruct her and work with her and tell her, like, hey, I know this is scary for you. I know this is confusing to you. I know that because you were a child that was parentified, you think you're supposed to understand everything I'm doing, but you need to stay out my business. Sometimes I gotta be like, stay out my business. But sometimes it really is just taking her and be like, do you want to go to the amusement park? Do you want? And
Mm,
what I found out about her is that when she is able to have the things that she needs, she's able to gently tap me to help me fulfill my purpose in the sense that
mm,
all she wants is for children, kids, young adults, people in general to be able to be free, to be selves, to be themselves. She doesn't want other people or children specifically to go through what she went through as a child.
mm,
So my greatest motivation is just knowing that in any way that I can, when I have the capacity to do it, because sometimes I don't. Sometimes I
mhm.
don't feel motivated. Sometimes I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm
Yeah.
doing it, find somebody else to do it. I'm leaving. I don't care about this job. I've 4 years postgraduate. I'm still not licensed because I'm like, find somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Understood.
But um I find that when I have the capacity, like she is my greatest motivator because I want people to find their intrinsic purpose because when you heal the person next to you, they heal the person next to them. And then hopefully we could create this trickle down effect where we're creating a consciousness of healing. And that's just ultimately, my goal.
Come on now.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that response because if you know anything about In Session, is passing down healing and not trauma.
Yeah.
So I just that we can end this right now. I
You got
love
what you needed. You
that.
got what you needed.
Oh, I love that response so much. All right, we're gonna switch gears. So
Okay,
you have a podcast yourself.
I do.
How do we get into that? Tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
Yeah, so you talked about motivation, and I'm not gonna lie, like my motivation has been fluctuating
Mhm.
with podcasting because I was in a season where I wanted to be self-contained. I wanted to be grounded. I
Mhm.
wanted to feel introspective. I wanted to feel in control of my own life. I don't care about your life if my life is in shambles, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Hello.
right? Like I'm no good to anyone if I'm not good to myself. So I wanted
Mhm.
to lock in and
Mhm.
harvest my energy because I didn't want to feel like I'm putting out more than I'm getting back.
Mhm.
And sometimes in this world, it's just like we throwing everything at the ceiling, right? Just trying to make it, trying to do it, and it's just like, but I didn't get anything back,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
And sometimes when you don't get anything back, you need to find ways to fulfill yourself. So
Mhm.
I took a break. This is actually, I'm happy to be doing this because, us creating this is helping me get back into my flow of creativity.
There we go.
Yeah, man. So I'm happy that, we were doing this. But like, for me, I just kind of like just went into like you didn't ask me what I do, but the get into the podcast is I went in like I'm the trap therapist, like nobody's doing what I'm doing. Even if they want to do it, you're not me, you're not original. So how can I, right?
Right.
Right? You saw me first, right? Like you didn't it's they so
Exactly.
anybody who does it after, right? They're not me. So it's just like I kind of stepped into just wanting to just like create a space to really just educate people and not educate them, well, educate them from my experience about what it is to be a Black gay therapist that doesn't conform to society's pressure. So a lot of my podcast is looking at things that society reference and society cares about and creating a, so to speak, psychodynamic, psychoanalytic evaluation of it. um, I like Sigmund Freud. I know people don't really like him.
Mhm.
But I do like the fact that he thinks that there are unconscious components to our behavior that we don't know.
Mhm.
So what I try to do is look at human behavior and analyze it past what the average person does. Like,
Okay.
like a lot of people look at behavior and they judge it or critique it or dismiss it or label it.
Mhm.
Whereas I like to look at it and think that it can inform a way that we can empower society and a
Mhm.
way that we can look at our own shit too, because we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So I try to create content that is relatable in the sense of being able to allow people to be self-reflective
Yeah.
within their circles and their spaces and within themselves by also being the therapist that's honest, saying like, hey, I've been through it too.
Mhm. I love that. So you started and you didn't go too much into your podcast. So I'm glad
Okay.
that you didn't because that is my next question. So
Okay.
you do reviews, like
Yeah.
TV show reviews. So
Yeah.
it's definitely the your response is clicking to me for sure of
Yeah.
like how you even got that and being able to look at something that's like a TV as a TV show that everybody is watching, everybody's
Yep.
tuned into, everybody is
Hmm.
just kind of like idolizing in different
Hmm.
aspects, and you take the opportunity to take that and say, well, let's dissect the behaviors
Hmm.
of what we're seeing.
Hmm.
Let's we see the surface. Let's kind of see what could possibly be
Yep.
happening, like internally or behind us, like things
Hmm.
that the average eye wouldn't have caught. And seeing how that could possibly connect to something bigger.
Yep.
Hey, family, thank you so much for watching, but make sure that you are subscribed. Be sure to like, comment, and share. And if you're listening, leave a 5-star review. Back to the show.
Absolutely.
So I love that. Did I get that right?
You did it amazing. Yeah, you said it amazing. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, my thing is like what kind of got you into going that route as far as like TV show reviews? I mean, I think it's a genius idea, but like what was that like day you was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do? What was happening?
I think so. I'm in my mind, I thought of the idea, and then I think it's that thing of like I'm never gonna be like, oh, I created like my trap therapist identity. I created that, but like the concept and the idea, I didn't create it. It
Mhm.
came to me, and then I'd realize that other people, kind of like a flow of consciousness, like it comes to you and then it comes to everybody.
Mhm.
And I just kind of was like, this makes sense to me because this is just naturally how I am. Like I literally my zodiac sign is a Cancer. I don't know if you're into astrology.
Okay.
So like I'm
I
someone
love
who
that. Cancer. My
yeah,
husband's a
yeah.
Cancer. We get along. Our grandmother's Cancer. Like
Oh wow, really?
we good so
Yeah.
far.
Oh wow. Um, and so for me, it's just kind of like I'm like cancers, I think, are really good at naming emotions that people feel but can't name. So a lot
Hmm.
of times I would see people and intuitively be like, well, they're arguing about a car, but that's not what this is about. This is about something else. I'm looking at the body language.
Hmm.
I'm listening to the tone. Um, I'm a little bit looking at the profile. There's something deeper going on, right? And then I think that when you look at how society kind of is constructed,
Hmm.
it's very intentional.
Hmm.
So when you sit back, like I had said, I was a correction officer, so a lot of what I did was observe people and behavior
Yeah.
to keep myself safe.
Hmm.
So a lot of what I'm able to do is kind of just look back, look at people and understand that like frustration is when someone feels like they're not being heard.
Hmm.
Anger is a secondary emotion.
Hmm.
So I'm able to kind of look at behavior and people's reactions in this nuance
Hmm.
to the extent that I'm just like, okay, well, let me just put the cultural implication of being like the trap therapist in it so people can have an extra layer of just understanding that just because someone is shooting in the ghetto doesn't mean that they're, just violent or they're a psychopath. It could just mean that they've exhausted all their options to be heard in other ways, and this is the only
Hmm.
way that they can feel powerful.
Wow.
So I try to bridge that, and I started with doing shows like Raising Cannon, because that modeled and mirrored the life of a lot of my clients, kind of
Hmm.
being born into a lifestyle of criminality, a lifestyle of gang violence, not ever having a choice. I met the greatest kid who never had a choice on what his life should have been like.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he has to be away for a very long time because of that. I met a lot of kids like that.
Hmm.
So I wanted to add context to behavior because I think a lot of people just see Black people and think, again, we're monolithic, oh, that person is a savage, they're ghetto. But it's just like, well,
Yeah.
you don't understand that they're kind of like, creating drug wars, they're placing guns in our
Exactly.
community.
Hello, it didn't just arrive.
Yeah,
That's
the
a whole
police.
nother conversation.
Yeah, right. So,
Hello, where did the first drugs come from? The
yeah,
guns. How we even
yeah,
get access to them? They're
yeah,
giving it to us.
yeah, with the intention. And I just kind of wanted to add that context. So that's kind of how I got into.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Definitely, that's like I think that that's a tactic that one I have never really seen before, and it's very strategic in a way that it's like you get to break down certain things that people a lot of, like you said, Raising Kanan, very popular show, but to some people it's just a show. To some people that's their real life. Like
Yeah.
this is a real
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yep.
And so to be able to take that and dissect it so that it kind of adds some value or adds some type of like a level of being seen
Yeah.
with during your breakdowns while people are watching this for entertainment, and it's like people really living this lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well
love
said.
that.
Yeah.
So with that, you did have a video surrounding imposter syndrome.
Mm.
And so I wanted to make sure I touched on that as well, because with being like having all these hats, having, doing all the things, how do you make sure that, or how did you overcome a level of imposter syndrome? Um, and how easy, if you can talk to about like how easy that mindset comes and goes throughout your entire profession.
Another good question. Um, I think in the very beginning,
Mhm.
I dealt with imposter syndrome coming into the work of being a therapist because I was raised and groomed and conditioned to believe that I had to take care of adults.
Mm.
So because of that, I essentially I started to think that it was my responsibility to heal and save everyone around me.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I would try to, I didn't know at the time, but I had like my rescuer hat on and I'm just like, I'm gonna save you. Let me put my cape on. And I tried to save everyone around me and I started to drown and no one was concerned. And I was angry and I wanted to blame people and I wanted to make excuses. And then I had to look introspectively and be like, but no one asked you to do that. You made the choice to do
Oh,
that.
jeez. All right. All right. What's happening here? This feels like an attack a little bit. I'm gonna let you finish, but I don't
I
know.
want to hear what you
Good,
had.
good. Just finish.
And I started to be upset with myself with the choices that I make, and that came where I had to get my inner child back in and be like, hey, like you can't be upset because people are choosing to do what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you and I choose essentially what is best for us? We
Mm-hmm.
can't live through the lives or the extensions of other people. We have to be, focused on us, right? And like I swear, like I know it's the cheesiest thing in the world, but I live by the flight attendant on the airplane who is like, put
Mm-hmm.
your own mask on first, okay?
Right,
Because
exactly.
that's really, what it is. If you are not saving yourself, you are in no position to save other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally think imposter syndrome happens when you think that it's your responsibility to save other people before you're supposed to save yourself.
Mm.
You're never going to feel spiritually aligned with meeting everyone else's needs before you meet your own needs. We're human beings at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
We're still human. We're having a very physical experience, but we're human. We're selfish. We have needs. We want things. We
Yeah.
get upset when we can't get things, but that doesn't mean that that's abnormal. What it means is that we just need to be pouring into ourselves because we can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm.
So that's, essentially,
Whew.
yeah.
I love that response. Do you feel like because you are a therapist, people don't see you as human or
Oh,
as you?
oh, 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 now we're talking.
Like, do you like? Can you speak towards that? Like, people being able to say, like, "Are you a therapist? You," or like, you shouldn't crash out because you should know better, or certain things like that.
I love that question because I was just having this conversation. And I remember I was at the Trader Joe's, and I think this guy is probably, we still follow each other on social media to this day.
Mhm,
And I think it was like during the pandemic, and the cashier was really rude.
mhm,
And I basically expressed to her, like, this is not the time to have this lack of empathy, and we're not gonna do that.
mhm,
And a guy overheard that worked there, and he was just like, nah, that's just how she is. Like, let me just get your groceries. Let's go to the car, trying to downplay it.
mhm,
So, we're just having this conversation, and we're going back and forth and stuff like that. So I end up telling him, you know what I'm saying, what I did.
mhm.
And he was like, so man, you a therapist, and you just letting that bother you? And I'm just like, I'm not a therapist right now, bro. What you talking about? So I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, and it's like, and then I sat with that, right? Because I'm someone, like, I've, again, conditioning, man. I was just like, yeah, I'm a therapist. I know everything. And then all of a sudden, these people start talking to me crazy. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, I ain't about to, what the fuck's wrong with these people? Like, I'm not about to deal with this shit, bro. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I'm like, wait, that's just my role. That's just my
Yeah.
identity. It's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I don't have to answer to what other people call me. That ain't who I am. That's my role.
You talking now.
Right? That's not my capacity every single day, right? And I don't think that means when I'm outside of the role that I could go and be a shitty human. I don't do that. I don't want to do
Mhm,
that. That's not what I'm saying. But what
mhm,
I'm saying is that this notion that therapists don't have humans, that we're not having a human experience, that we're
mhm,
not going through the same things that everyone else is going through, it lacks compassion, and it lacks sensitivity. And I think in grad school, my experience was that they wanted us to condition us to be experts so that
mhm,
we could go into this power dynamic with clients, so that we could, like, be on this high horse and be fucking delusional and
mhm.
think that we're like God, working
Yeah.
with clients that in all reality have the skill set to do what it is that they need to do. It's just that
Mhm,
they need some support,
mhm,
some compassion, maybe some instruction. But we all are governed and born in the capacity that we have what we need to sustain and survive this world. It's about being able to discover that. So that's just my role. If I want to go be a teacher tomorrow, I'll be a teacher tomorrow. If I want to be a veterinarian, those are just roles. That's not who I am. It's just what I choose to do. And that's just how I separate that. And I don't like when people think that therapists is like, I'm not going to be like, yes, I know everything. And yes, I've never been through anything. And yet, like, shut up. Just shut up. Like, I'm not jacking that. That's not what we do over here. Like, I don't overshare, but I want my clients to know that I'm a human and that I'm having a human experience, and it's okay to not have it figured out. And it's okay to not have all the answers. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me otherwise.
mm. Listen, I told y'all I brought her here. I told y'all I brought her here to trap therapist. I just knew this was gonna be a good one. I just knew this was going to be a good one. So I want to switch gears and talk about representation.
Okay.
So when I say representation, I want to just kind of know your take of how important it is to, like you mentioned, wear so many hats. And when I say hats, I mean, geez, being black, being a woman, and being part of the LGBTQ community. And so, why do you feel like, or do you even feel like it is important for us to show up in these spaces? Like, I mean, you were just, expressing a little bit about how the population that you serve, you show up, and this is me. And so,
Mhm,
why do you feel like that is important, and not to show up, like as buttoned down the way that the school,
mhm,
kind of wants you to go out in the world and be or look like?
mhm. I think that, like, resistance is a natural part of life.
Okay.
I think that if you look at the systemic structure from K to 12th grade, kids are told to shut up and sit down. If they don't take instruction well from white teachers, they get kicked out of the classroom.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Right.
because I'm someone who's experienced that, um, and I think that Black girls now are increasingly starting to experience that in the school settings and psychiatric settings. I feel like it's so important for people to understand that as Black people, as a culture, again, we're not monolithic, right? Like we sometimes are expressive,
Mhm.
sometimes we are loud,
Yeah.
sometimes we are abrasive. That isn't always a sign of disrespect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every time that I enter a room and I'm able to, denounce people's speculation or
Mhm.
maybe assumptions about me, I think I'm allowing other people because I want to see, I don't know about you, but I want to see more Black lesbian women. Um, I personally don't consider myself masked, but I know that the world might see that. But I want to see Black masculine women in mental health spaces. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
that everybody has to work blue collar. Like, I want us
Yeah.
to be in the social, excuse me, social work sector. Like, I want Black masculine women to understand that intellectuality is sexy.
Mm.
Education is sexy. Being confident is sexy. Like we don't have to go and be bus drivers and truck drivers. And I'm not knocking that because y'all make more than me. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. But it's like we don't have to do that. Like we could own our femininity and still present masculine at the same time. You know what I mean? So I want to see more representation and I want to see more Black women come in unapologetically themselves. So, again, I want to be the one to be able to, every room I'm in, if I'm with white people, hey, just because you see me don't mean you know me.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So, what do you feel like, branching off of that, what do you
Mhm.
feel like is one of your biggest misconceptions that people like look at you, and what do you feel like you get or they see?
See, I kind of don't want to say it because I like to play dumb and like people to be wrong.
Okay.
But no, I'm gonna say, I think people think that I'm ignorant,
Mm.
that I'm ghetto,
Okay.
yeah, that they could provoke me. I think that's the biggest one.
Mm.
I think being a therapist has come with a lot of people thinking that they could provoke me because the idea of a therapist means regulated
Ah.
perfection, So when they see me and see how I dress, it's like that coding. Well, she looks like she's from this hood, so maybe
Mm.
she's dysregulated like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I notice a difference when I look like this versus like if I were to dress up, then I could just kind of stay. I still may get stereotype, but it's just different. It's like, okay, that makes sense, but this doesn't make sense to them. So they just have to put it where they put
Confuse
everyone
them.
will look. Yes, yes. So a lot of times just people just think that they can provoke situations and agitate
Mm.
me. Um,
Mm.
they don't know that I'm a very, very quiet, very reserved person. I don't talk a lot. That's just, I say what I need to say and move around. So
Mm.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
Okay. I would have never, I mean, obviously, this is our first time meeting,
Right,
but
right, right.
well, in this capacity, but I would have
Yeah.
never even assumed that. So, wow.
Well,
Uh,
what is your assumption? What, Nada, can we flip? Now let me ask you, what is your assumption? What did you assume?
no, I don't think I have any like huge assumptions. You're giving me a real Trinidad James vibe though, so I'm
Okay,
really
okay.
enjoying that part, like the and everything, the nails. I really enjoy that. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm
I
like, wow, you're
appreciate that.
mad stylish. Like I came
Thank
here
you.
bare, and I'm
Thank
like,
you.
dang, I should put my watch on. I just
No,
don't feel like
you do
it.
it when you come on my podcast. It's all right. It's all
I
right.
said, okay, good. I'm like, damn, I left it in the other room. I'm in. And you stepped up and showed out. I'm here like, how's everybody doing? And you like, where we at with it? Gee.
But you came with the questions. You matching the energy, and
Okay.
that is very hard to do. So
Okay.
shout out to
Woo.
you.
Thanks for giving me a pass because I'm trying to show up and I'm just gonna do this thing. I got, freshened up and I forgot everything because I was like, all right, I don't want to be, I'm just gonna sit here and focus.
Mhm.
And then you showed up with all of this stuff, and I'm like, God dang, that just took at least 5 more minutes to
I
put
had to be
myself
ready. I
on.
had to be ready.
Listen, I appreciate it. I think you're nice. So I definitely appreciate the way you showing up. All right. So we are coming towards the end, but I
Okay.
definitely want to just get your thoughts on excuse me, get your thoughts on the power of connection, the power of connections and community in a space where a lot of us are like gatekeeping, or we don't want to share what we got, or we don't want to connect with others because they don't, I don't know how, but people don't understand that there's so much power in numbers, that they'd rather stay in a box, or so yeah, give me your opinion or your thoughts on like the power of community and collaboration and connection.
I think you asking that question is definitely first. I want to say like thank you for even creating the space to have me here, right? I think I think it's important because we're Black women. We're both a part of the LGBTQ
Mhm.
plus community.
Us. Right.
And so I just want to first thank you for that courage to be able to do that. And like we actually land in it. So like just shout out to us for that. I just wanted to say that. Um but I think it's important because I think that we have to hear each other's stories.
Mhm.
I think that, and I'm gonna just circle it home to women, Black women. This is my message for us. We have to hear each other's stories. We have to hear each other's stories. We have to understand that we literally, whether we're straight, gay, we have all been through the same similar experience
Mhm.
living in a patriarchy, living under the confines that women are deemed to be less than men.
Yeah.
Even more so when you step inside your sexuality and say, hey, I'm going to choose to be with someone of the same sex. You're resisting what
Yeah.
society has taught you to do. So that's powerful in itself. People don't
Yeah.
see that. People be like, oh, I'm just like, no, it's like you're committing an act of resistance by saying, hey, the world's saying you're supposed to do this and you're doing that. So that's power in
Mhm.
itself. But I
Mhm.
think as Black women as a community, if we sat with each other instead of bickering, competing,
Yeah.
trying to measure up against each other, being jealous of one another, and understand that we are so connected because like we have feminine energy that
Mhm.
the world needs.
Mhm.
We, Black women in the it's my belief that Black women alone could change the whole face of the nation.
And could. Yep.
Black women, like the like for real, like I'm not gonna try to go into stereotypes that Black women are single moms,
Mm.
but let's be real. Even if the biological father is not in the house, that kind of makes her a single mom by virtue of, you know, there's no father in the home. And if you can raise children, go to
Mhm.
work,
Mhm.
go to school,
Mhm.
look good as hell at 60 years old,
Hello.
right? Right. You can absolutely use your wisdom and the things that you've learned over the course of the year to pour into people who have never been able to achieve your skill set, or women who are younger. Because what I find working in the mental health community is little girls are having the same experiences that we had. And because no one is saying, hey, that doesn't have to be your life, they don't know
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
community is important because I think it's the bridge between our essence, our heart, and humanity. So in any way that I would absolutely be able to facilitate it, in the future, I would love to do that because I think that's the only way that as a community, as a people, as a nation, regardless of race, gender, anything, we're going to be able to move forward. We all need each other.
Mm.
Yeah.
You better close us out with that one, okay? I love that. Listen, I'm already, the way my mind works, I'm like, okay, so how can I use you for my next thing? So listen, this won't be the last time. This is not
No, no,
the last
no, no,
time. I
no, no, no,
listen, it
nah,
won't be the last time,
no.
even if you thought it was.
I know you thought it
Like,
was. Nah, we gonna lock in.
I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
yeah, I got some ideas.
yeah.
All right. So let the people know where they can find you if you have anything exciting to
Uh,
share.
Yeah.
Yeah, just where can they find your greatness? Like where you at?
All right, all right. So I'm the Trap Therapist on TikTok. I really don't be on there, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I'm not on social media really. I'm a ghost. But
Mm-hmm.
the Trap Therapist BK on Instagram, also on Threads. I'm gonna get back into recording shows. My favorite show, and I'm really, really, really excited. I don't know if you watch it, but I hope that you will. Is Married to Medicine. I fucking love them, and I'm going to. They are black. Speaking of black women, black excellence personified. They are black doctors in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm gonna, comb through their behavior because it gets a little bit messy.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want that to be a way to amplify the voices of Black women and remind Black women that we see each other, that we love each other, and that we're here for each other, despite all
Mm.
shit that they try to push, to make us hate each other or compete with each other.
Nice. I don't watch that show, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait for you to post it
Right.
and let me be intrigued by it, and then
Okay.
all right, let me go see what she's talking about. I
You're
want to
gonna
hear
enjoy
the
it.
top therapist first, and
Facts.
then I'll go watch it.
Facts. Okay, we can do that.
Okay, period. So thank you all for watching. If you stayed this long, welcome to the family. I appreciate it. Thank you everybody for watching and tune in. Make sure you do all the beautiful things that you could do. That's for free. Like, comment, and subscribe. Give me 5 stars. Like four.
5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars. Why am I shortchanging myself? Hello. And we'll see you all on the next episode.